All right, what's going on, guys? This is Reggie. Doing a follow-up on the whole speed hack video and everything about it that we've been talking about. So I did a lot of testing regarding this speed hack, right? Back to back as much as possible with full charge battery. Same, almost identical weather conditions. The weather, of course, cannot be perfect because nature can't be perfect. But anyway, regarding the speed hack and disconnecting the white wires, I got some notes. I'll skip through, to glance over it from time to time. So this wire, basically, from my experience, right, it doesn't increase the speed that is programmed into the controller, right? Because we're not rewriting the firmware or anything else. It doesn't do that. So what it does is it monitors the temperature. It's a temperature monitor wire, like a temperature gauge built into the controller that monitors the temperature of the motor. And what happens is, if the motor starts getting warm or above a certain threshold parameter that the controller has, the wire is what monitors it. The controller starts limiting the speed at which the motor is running. So, for example, so if you're going uphill, downhill, normal, whatever, for a long period of time, the motor is going to generate heat. That's just common sense. It's going to generate heat. So when it starts hitting a certain temperature, the controller is going to limit the amount of power or speed the motor is running. So your speed isn't going as fast as it can. Downhill, for example, if you're going downhill, a lot of people are noticing when they go downhill-ish, not full downhill, just downhill-ish, they can hit speeds up to 23, 25, 28 mile per hour. That's because the motor at that point is not being limited by the temperature thresholds that are programmed into the controller, because unplugging the white cable removes that sensor aspect. So now that the sensor thinks that there's no temperature threshold, it can just keep going. In the long run, this can and probably will be bad for the motor, because the safety parameter of the motor is gone. So if you are riding for full blown as much as you can at max speed, the motor is going to heat up. You probably won't notice the difference immediately. You probably will notice it later down the line. So do at your own risk is basically what it comes down to. When there's no sensor for it, you're gonna gain fast speeds like I have. When there's sensor there, you're gonna get limited speeds, because as soon as the temperature hits a certain threshold, you're gonna get limited. You're gonna not go as fast as you possibly could beforehand. That is why there's a limiter per se. I believe every scooter probably has some kind of a limiter, because a motor is a motor, and the longer you run it, the more heat it generates. It doesn't have any kind of cooling system, from what I understand from this one anyway. So the only way it cools itself is by limiting the speed and probably RPM it runs at. So that's probably why it is slower when you leave it plugged in versus unplugged. So that is my thoughts and my testing of what the white wire plug does for the speed hack. Again, this is my opinions. I'm no freaking engineer. I didn't do any kind of thermal testing or whatever else, but I believe that's what it is. And this is with a lot of research too. I went on a lot of forums online. I was reading a lot about people's comments too, put together after testing. So again, the speed limiter isn't a limiter, it's more of a temperature control monitor, or temperature monitor for the motor that is controlled by the controller. So if you unplug it, it will no longer sense the temperature of the motor, which means the motor will keep running regardless of how hot it gets. And there's nothing to stop it to cool down if you're just running at that speed. If you plug it back in, the safety parameters are back in, and you will be limited to the maximum speed of whatever the controller thinks is the appropriate speeds to help the motor run efficiently. Sometimes even plugged in, you can go faster than 15 mile per hour because at that time the temperature is the perfect temperature for what the controller was programmed for. So do the speed hack at your own risk. If you're concerned, don't do it. Just don't do it at all. I'm gonna plug the speed hack thing, the white wire, back on. I'm gonna do more testing on it and see how it goes. I do plan on buying another scooter, higher, more expensive scooter with a higher top speed. And when I do, then this will become my testing scooter, and then I'm gonna, fuck shit up. But until then, that's it. That's just a disclaimer, FYI, guys. That's what I found out. Again, I might be wrong on this, but it is, this is what I found out after all the research I've done. So hopefully it helped you guys out. Hopefully nobody's screaming, yelling at me. Just that's what I know. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike if you didn't like it, which you probably will. Comment below if you think I'm correct. If you have some more information on this to help others out, helping others is always a good thing. So help others out. Let everybody know what you guys think, and subscribe if you haven't. I will be updating more stuff. I bought a lot more things for the scooter. I'll be posting all those up later, and letting you know what those are. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Long video, I know, but I like to talk, so sorry. Peace.